Mr. Puppo, what time is it? You got a watch on your wrist, by the way.
Oh, it's going on 1 o'clock, and it's Minnkota Ulterra time. We're having a party here tonight, getting this thing dialed in.
Hold on, before we get rolling, I initially thought we'd be able to go live with an update on this project sometime around our normal, broadcast time of 6 p.m. Pacific. And we're a little bit behind schedule here with some time-consuming detail work. Big updates going on. We have basic mounting of our Garmin EchoMap Plus 93. And most importantly, the Livescope Transducer. A Hydrowave H2. What's up, DeForest Hall? We got about 7 people tuned in here in the wee hours of, was it Saturday morning now?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday morning.
Sunday.
So
Monday.
Good morning, guys. We've been at this for a solid at least 10 hours. This guy even more so. He started grinding and fabricating and tightening up some loose ends here. So let me give you guys a little bit of an update on where we stand here in the back battery compartment. One new thing you will see is the plumbing for the bilge pump is now run. So we have a functioning bilge, or we will once it's hooked up. What's up, Henry? Thanks for tuning in, guys. I know this is late. Hudson, how you doing? But look at the custom fabricated mount and setup here for the intake pump that will be at some point hooked up to that. That right there is just big enough for one fish of a lifetime. All right, so Kelly was grinding on that. He's mounted the wiring for the 24-volt system. So all that's in place and new from the last update we've done. But today's main focus was to get the components on top of that trolling motor mounted so we can wire up and power the graph, the Livescope, the H2, and here's a little overview of some of the components. Here's the Livescope thingamajig, the GLS10, whatever that thing does. But that plugs in, is networked into the EchoMap Plus. All right, as you can see here. But the big challenge is because of our trolling motor selection here, and this is a Minnkota Riptide Ulterra. And because of the way this trolling motor self-deploys and stows, you can't really mount any transducers or Hydrowave speakers in a traditional format, because as you can see, this shaft runs on a track and is fed through this block here on the auto deploy and stow. So there's really no way to mount, as you can see quickly here, the Hydrowave speaker, wire the Panoptics Livescope speaker, or just the actual DownVu and SideVu transducer for the EchoMap itself, and the cabling around this contraption normally. So we did some internet research. I explored some options for a few days, and it looks like we found a working solution, and we really won't know until we actually get this thing on the water and deploy it and go through the rigors of fishing and chasing big bass dreams. But so far, so good. What do you think, Kelly? Tell us about this system and what makes it different. Because obviously you've rigged bass boats for decades now, right? How many boat rigs have you been involved in?
Well, through my bass boats and through my sponsorships too, with getting my own trolling motors and electronics, I've rigged them from time to time. But this is a whole different application. Less room to work with. Everything's exposed. And you really got to make it bulletproof for the elements. And to do this type of a unit on this little platform here is a lot of work. And there's a lot going on here on the head here of the motor. All the wiring that we had to run and figure out how to get it so it's going to be clean and functional. Clamping it, positioning, everything that we needed to do here was fun, you know, and it was functional. That's the key. And
But it was challenging, wasn't it?
it was a bit challenging
Because let me give these guys a little heads up on what the purpose and objective was, is to find a solution to actually mount all that cabling and wiring to where it is free and clear of that whole stow and deploy system there. You see that coil there keeps things under tension as this motor is lifting and dropping and all that good stuff. And before we found this mount, that was pretty much impossible. So once we kind of dry fitted it up there, it looks like we figured it out pretty well through a lot of trial and error, because let's show these guys what is actually on the actual trolling motor at this point. Kelly, what do you got there?
Well, we have our main transducer on the bottom here, on the bottom of the head here.
So that's where our down view, our side view, and our transducer we're going to be using for quick chart is mounted.
Is here solid. And then we have a Hydrowave mounted on the side here as well, double clamped.
Port side.
And as well, we clamp through the transducer slash for the vision. What did the
it's a Panoptics Livescope.
Panoptics Livescope vision right here, which goes through the actual transducer as well here, and locks both of them in at once, which was the deal. That was a lifesaver.
That was a trick.
That was a lifesaver right there. When I saw that, we can kill two birds with one stone, mount two technically transducers with one clamp, and that made
one stainless clamp.
That made it really clean, yeah.
And it actually freed up one of the other clamps that we used on the Hydrowave on one side.
On the opposite side too, and we have a plastic clamp on the front side of the Hydrowave because we have plastic down below when you stow.
Here, let me jump down there real quick.
So when you're stowing and bringing the motor back up, it's just plastic. You don't ever want to have plastic against metal. So we just made it here. So we went plastic on the inside.
Because you are making contact with the mount.
You're just going to be on the edge there. So all these things have to take into consideration, and then also the clamping and being able to be functional to dismantle on the water, or if you have a breakdown or what have you, you have to access all your clamping nuts where you can get to them to dismantle and assemble. Everything has to be functional. It's not a one-time application or installation. You have to make it user-friendly for the next guy, or if you have an issue, period.
Next guy. Nobody getting this bad boy.
Meaning next guy could be a mechanic or a, who knows, rodeo clown maybe, might need to find somebody to help you or whatever. If something happens to me.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't have very much clearance or wiggle room here, guys, right? Look at that. I mean, that is in there.
It's tight space.
Get it right, get it tight, but we maximize the space. This seems to be a pretty efficient solution to that number one problem with fishing an Ulterra trolling motor. So the nice thing too is we actually were able to have the space to mount the Panoptics Livescope transducer on the barrel of the trolling motor itself. But in the case we didn't, the other option was to use the stock rail mount to actually mount to this metal arm here, which would have worked as well.
But possibly impeding on the
down view.
Yes.
That's what
on the imaging cone and
correct
frequency.
So now this is free and clear.
360 somewhat,
No obstructions.
Yeah. So you're going to get right here all the way around, living live right here.
Diesel wants to know, hey, bruh, it's one. The F you into? He's LMAO. We're into fishing, bro. That's what we're into.
This is technical shit. I mean, it's.
We're getting jazzed to go fishing. The plan was to take this thing out in the water tomorrow, but that detail work pushed us back a little bit further in the schedule. So we'll probably be spending all day tomorrow to get the power ran for the graph, the Hydrowave, this Panoptics
running wire
box,
running power supplies.
So we're running all that power supply all day tomorrow into this gnarly little bad boy here. and spent some time determining where we want to lay this bad boy out. Nah, man, nothing as fun as running a quad off a cliff. That's once in a lifetime. But yeah, lots of stuff ahead of us before we still get this thing on the water, which I'm hoping to do for the first time for a test run in the next 48 hours. Yeah, this boat is pretty sick. So the man right here reminded me of Dr. Brown, the mad scientist from Back to the Future. We've had some inspiration and some good laughs there. But anyways, how you feeling, man? We just had a late dinner.
We just had dinner.
Literally just had dinner past midnight.
Yeah, we're on a different schedule. We're on a different time zone, I think, aren't we?
Oh, we're in the twilight zone,
we're
bro.
Somewhere, yeah, twilight zone.
We're in the twilight
We're
zone.
somewhere else. We're in another country right now. Yeah. Climbing the mountain still.
I don't know. He thinks it's all uphill still. I think we're actually sitting pretty good. I think we've hit the crest.
I feel like I'm at base camp.
You're at base camp still?
Yeah.
Oh, we just got to throw the deck back on there, get that wiring run, and man, I think we're ready to go fishing.
Got a big circuit board to do too.
Yeah.
All the circuitry.
So here's the blueprints to Dr. Brown's madness, as you guys might have seen on my Insta story on my Instagram, my personal. Break it down for us, bro. Oh gosh, almost dropped everyone. How much wiring do we have ahead of us here?
Spaghetti.
Break it down.
It's madness. Well, we go from here to here, and then once we get there, we make a right on that corner, and then we go to this corner and make a left, and we go to that one, then we go back to this one, then we come around, wrap to this one. Once we come out of that one, then we go to this one. After we go to this one, we go to this one. From this one, we go to this one, and there we go at the yellow brick road, and then we're home.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Piece of cake.
There you go.
Oh man. Oh, reminds me. Speaking of which, what are these things that you've got mounted here? These are updates.
Yeah.
What are they?
Breakers.
What are the purpose serve for?
Well, you got this breaker here.
Breaker 19.
Breaker 19. Okay. So obviously we have our
Master switch.
Master Perco here. Okay, and coming off the Master Perco, then we have the motor. We have, we're gonna jump over. We still got wiring to do as well. Then we have, that's a 60 amp. Then we have a 50 amp coming off the trolling motor here, which we will harness. I have another harness here somewhere.
We've got a couple harnesses prepped here.
Then these are gonna, yeah. Then we're just gonna jump over and get our 24 volt here. I had to disconnect so I can do some drilling and routing, and we'll do that. And then we're gonna run another wire. It's all gonna be 24 volt system, but we have to go through the fuses for backup so we don't destroy the trolling motor, so we don't cause any damage to any other units as well. And these are the same type of breakers they use in the big bass boats. Heavy duty, the best breakers you can get, and you use them throughout the boat application accordingly to each area to protect. And serpentine your wires, and then we have different gauges of wires for different loads. That was another issue. We had to make some adjustments. Well, mostly 12 gauge. We got some 10 gauge, and then all
18 gauge. We got 22 gauge in the mix now.
The actual lighter gauge wires that are running for electronics, lighting, etc. That'll run through the boat as well and be on a panel / breaker. So it'll all be somewhat bulletproof to some point too. You won't get any major issues or damages to your electronics or components.
So yeah, just another heads up for you guys that are considering a boat build, to whatever degree you want to take it. I made another trip down to West Marine. Today I went to the Newport location. Special shout out to my friend Bill, the master marine electronics expert. Gave me some advice on wiring and making some connections here that I could relay to Kelly, Dr. Brown, the Bass Wizard Puppo. Big shout out to my man Kay, big time bass fisherman. He's looking forward to this build. And yeah, be ready to buy lots of components. I might be able to get back down to West Marine and take a video shot of the parts list of items that I have been purchasing from West Marine locations throughout Southern California. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it got extensive. It continues to get extensive, and most importantly, I spent way more money than I ever really envisioned, even after doing this twice before, because we're taking this to whole new levels in every possible regard. You know, down to the thermo heat shrink versus the standard
shrink tubing.
Right.
This is actually thermal. It's actually adhesive that is watertight, and the salt water won't get in your electrical wiring. Thanks to Mark Hagashi, who gave me the tip on that, and he's a guru when it comes to the wiring as well, and has been very instrumental.
Big shout out to our man Mark,
helping me clarify and make sense of this too. It's not just a simple plug and play and walk away from it. No,
like I did.
This is not plug and play. This is serious business. And longevity too, for you want to be able to go in the salt water and survive and not have to worry about
these guys keep thinking I'm gonna die. You guys are worried.
Salt water regarding wear and tear and corrosion on your wiring. Well,
so yeah, just to sum it up, guys, you know what a boat stands for? That's just another acronym. Bust out another 1,000, and I've done that a few times here on this project already. But at the end of the day, we're going to have a pretty special completed project here that's going to be as functional as it is fun. Watching Kelly jump back into his element, working with his hands and tools, has been a pleasure of mine. I've been able to learn a lot from him. And it's been interesting and fun for me to watch all these guys, from Dave Pizarski to Kelly to Mark Hagashi to other guys that have experienced something similar with a different perspective, and everybody's chipped in with some great ideas, and we've implemented a lot of those small details here. Even look at Kelly's rigging for securing the gas tank, because he's worried about wear and tear and vibration and a bouncy trip on the road to rough weather elements. It's real simple. He's got a pool noodle here, stainless steel hangers.
It's all stainless steel. Nice solid bungee cord that I made up or rigged up.
Mm-hmm.
And
preventative maintenance.
This is to keep it from getting and sloshing around and banging into my pump and just making a lot of noise. And then we'll put in the pool noodles on the side here to cushion it.
Spacing,
and then
cushion.
I'll have a couple pool noodles down here to keep it locked in. And basically, this is my live well. This is going to be for the live well. Once I get a 90-degree elbow, it's going to connect.
Of which, like 7 to 9 of these I had to buy today. Like, I'm telling you guys, it's crazy. Look at this. This is the majority West Marine, some Home Depot runs. But be ready to spend money on things you had no idea you were going to spend money on when you bought a boat. Even when you buy a piece of crap off of Craigslist. It could potentially turn into the wildest boat project I have ever come across. But I think we're having fun. We're having fun?
Barrels are fun.
Don't let that face fool you guys. He's been at it for literally, look at the clock up there. It's already past 1 o'clock. Here in California. You wild boy.
It's crazy. It's fun. It's just too many hours. But it's kind of interesting because this is when I can do my most damage in the night. I guess that's why I've been called the wolf too. Ow!
All right, I think we're losing our minds here.
Good night.
Appreciate you guys tuning in here. I'll give you guys one last view of today's focus and work. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked on it. One big step closer here, guys, to a functional fishing machine. Look at that, man. Efficiency maximized right there, and space. So, well done, Mr. Kelly Bass Wizard Puppo. Calling him Dr. Brown tonight. If you guys ever need to get back to 1985, Lone Hill Mall, which is actually the Pointy Hills Mall, which is the one right by where I grew up, by the way. That's the man right there.
Yeah.
Hey, just to let you know, the Russians are coming to gun you down, bro, for that plutonium you stole.
I know the Russians.
They're coming to get you. You guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. Lots more updates coming, man. Have fun with that 12-foot StarCraft Ultimate Extreme Outdoors. You guys